Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be asking to be jerked around. Well, I've got an email here from a guy who made the mistake of basically giving all of his power away in a relationship with a woman that he was dating. And she'd been in the process of kind of backing away because he in essence was chasing her right out of his life. And on top of that, she just found out that she's pregnant with his baby. And so now he's realized how bad things have gotten and how he's kind of abdicated his leadership responsibility in their relationship, and it's caused her to become overly critical of him. And she's also canceled 2 dates in the last week or so for BS reasons at the last minute. So she's totally jerking this guy around. And so now he's thinking, hey, this girl's pregnant with my kids. Like, what do I do? How do I reattract her? It's not so easy just to walk away and never look back, because after all, she is pregnant with my baby. So I got a quote that I wrote on this particular topic, and I'm going to go through his email, because basically this guy has just been a terrible negotiator for himself. And women don't like it when a guy will not stand up for himself and what he wants. So the quote says, "Women do not respect or trust the masculine core of men whose actions are not congruent with their words. Men who don't stand up for themselves and what they believe in, men who are approval-seeking, and men who don't know how to lead. When you tolerate disrespect without standing up for yourself, you are literally asking and inviting people to continue mistreating you. The only way a woman can truly love and respect a man is if she knows that if she pushes him too far, he will walk away and never look back. If you don't set any healthy boundaries in your relationships, you are inviting people to walk all over you." This is really important when it comes to maintaining the power balance in the relationship. And I really learned this from a guy who's a buddy of mine. He was always pretty successful with women when we were younger. He's one of the few guys I know that really got it from the time that we were an early age. And he's been married for, it's a little over 20 years now, and they've been together 22, 23 years, I think, at this particular point. They've only had a handful of arguments in their life. And I remember him telling me the story many years ago. It's probably going back 15, 16 years ago, when I was really starting to get it, when things were really starting to click with me with a girlfriend I was in a relationship with at the time that I wrote about in my book. And what was interesting is that the woman who later became his wife, they were out somewhere, and she was just kind of bitchy with him and giving him a hard time about something. And he was just like tired of it. He just looked right at her and he says, "Well, give me my ring back then." And he was totally serious. He was basically communicating, like, hey, you've crossed this boundary here, and now you're disrespecting me to the point where if you really feel that way, if you really mean that, then you can give me my ring back and then you can find somebody else to marry you. She realized that she had pushed him too far. And because she respected him, and because she loved him, and because he stood up for himself in a loving way, it's not that he was a dick about it, but he was just matter-of-factly saying, hey, this is how I expect to be treated, and this is how I want you to treat me. And if you have a problem with that, then maybe we shouldn't be together. And sometimes it doesn't mean you're looking for a reason to threaten the person you're with, threaten to leave them. But if they're asking terms, or they're asking to continue treating you in an unreasonable, disrespectful way, you got to stand up for yourself. Because otherwise, if you put up with it, you're asking them to continue treating you that way. And when a woman notices when a guy doesn't stand up for himself, and he says, oh, everything's fine, it's great, and she could tell that he's going along with something he doesn't really like or doesn't really want to do, she resents it because it's weakness. She wants his strength. And that's what you see a lot of in this particular guy's email. And obviously the negative consequences of it, and how it's led to her becoming very bitchy. Because when women become bitchy in this way, they're in essence kicking in the balls to try to get you to step up and be the man that you're capable of being. Because when you're not in your masculine and a woman is in her feminine, especially in this case, she's pregnant, and the guy's not leading, it makes her feel very unsafe and very uncomfortable, and forces her to move into her masculine, which is not her natural essence, so she's going to resent it. And as soon as the guy moves back into his masculine, she'll feel comfortable letting him be the leader. So let's go through his email. He He says, "Hey Corey, I met this girl on Tinder 5 months back. I really liked her and she was reciprocating as our feelings for each slowly escalated. So far so good. We both had busy schedules and only see each other every 10 to 14 days. So you've basically been dating maybe 2-3 times a month for 5 months now. So when you're with somebody for 5 months and you're only seeing each other 2 to 3 times a whole month, what that tells me is that more than likely you've been pursuing too much, because after 5 months she should be head over heels in love with you and want to be with you pretty much 24/7. If you follow what I teach in my book, it takes right about 7 or 8 weeks for a woman to fall in love. And this guy's 5 months down the line, so obviously there were either she wasn't that into him to begin with, or he was doing and saying a lot of things that turned her off and prevented her from ever getting to the point where she developed any real strong, deep feelings of love for him. Recently, she started getting impatient and snappy with me, and I feel like I'm plan B, not plan A anymore. I'd not been standing up for myself very well, and things have been declining, and she's become gradually more critical of me. Well, that's in that moment, that's when you say, look, I don't appreciate the way you're talking to me. The way you're talking to me is abusive, and I don't like it. And you need to apologize and not talk to me like that and treat me in a sweet, loving voice. If something's bothering you, upsetting you, let's talk about it and let's work it out. Now, you can say that to a woman who's a good communicator, and she'll say, I'm sorry, you're right, I was kind of being a bitch. And then then you say, great, so what's the matter? Why are you upset? Why, what's going on? Let's talk about it. And you'll talk and you'll be able to work it out. Now, there's lots of women out there that are really lousy communicators, and they'll say things like, I don't want to talk about it, or not right now, now's not the time, I'm not in the mood, I need to stew over it for a while, then I'll get back to you later on. And then nothing ever really gets resolved. It's almost impossible to have a healthy, long-term, easy and effortless relationship with somebody like that, because they're used to creating drama. That's what they learned in their families. When you got pissed off at somebody, you retaliate. You don't communicate, you retaliate. You don't get mad, you get even. And unfortunately, most women are not, human beings in general aren't very great communicators. And so if you want to have, because when they do studies and they look at couples that last like a long time, the one thing they all have in common is they place a high value on communicating and working things out before they go to bed. Like one of my friend that I was talking about earlier in the video, he has that with his wife. They came from good families, loving families, so they learned how to work and talk things out in a healthy adult manner. They both understand, and I've talked to them about this many times over the years, that, hey, we're in this together. We're here to meet each other's needs. What the fuck is the point of arguing? If you're arguing, you shouldn't even be together in the first place. That's their attitude. And so it's really just about meeting each other's needs. It's like, what can I do to support you and nurture and help you achieve your goals and your objectives in life? That's what they're focused on. It's like, what can we do to meet each other's needs? And that's what they focus on. That's why they work things out. Now, the average person is not like that. He says, although it hasn't gotten so bad, meaning her being critical, we were still having sex, but she's not having orgasms as much these days. Well, that tells me that she's really just going along with it to placate you, to please you, to make you happy. And it's obviously she's just simply not that into it. I realized what had happened in the last 2 weeks a bit late. I accidentally let her become dominant, and that's when I found your book and website. I'm 75% of the way through the book, How to Be a 3% Man, currently, and I was just putting together a plan for enforcing my boundaries and trying to rebalance the power when she dropped the bombshell that she's pregnant. Well, it's not about using a strategy and manipulating her. It's really about getting to the place where you understand why women do what they do and why men do what they do in relationships. What creates attraction and what turns the other person off. And that's the thing, is you're looking for the quick fix. You're looking for the widget, the on-off switch that just makes everything all better in your relationship. When the reality is you should be focused on learning to understand the principles that I teach in my book, so you can react based upon how she's showing up, what she's doing, what she's saying. And also, you should be focused on dating and courting her properly. She should be doing, I can tell you're doing too much of the pursuing. You're doing too much of letting her be the leader. When it comes to making a date, instead of making a date, you're going, what do you want to do? And she's like, I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. What do you want to do? And you're waiting for her. It's like you're sitting around waiting to be told what to do. Women don't like that. I realized what happened in the last 2 weeks a bit late. I let her become dominant, and that's when I came across your book. He says it was kind of a surprise that she's pregnant, considering she's been told by a specialist fertility clinic that she can only have children with in vitro fertilization treatment, and they froze her eggs at a high cost already. I've only seen her once since she told me, and that night we talked about what to do. We said we'd try to raise the baby together and try living together in a couple of months' time after agreeing to spend more time together. See, part of the problem is you're trying to use logic and reason to work all this stuff out, but what you got to understand is that women fall in love slowly over time by dating and courting them properly, and that's where you've been going wrong. You haven't been dating and courting her properly, and you in essence have kind of made her the man in the relationship. That's going to cause her to lose attraction for you and back away and become confused about her feelings. She'll literally feel wishy-washy inside when she thinks about you. However, she also suggested that we could just be friends if the relationship didn't work out. In other words, that tells me that's what she's thinking about, that you're probably going to end up as friends and not stay together as lovers. Because she was kind of already on that path of backing away when she found out she was pregnant. Does that sound like a red flag much? Well, it sounds to me like you haven't been dating and courting her properly. You've been trying to force things a little too much. You've been a little too focused on a relationship, locking her down. And it sounds like you want to see her more than she wants to see you. In other words, she's got all the power. She can tell probably at this point that you're way more into her than she is into you. And the more she's backed away, the more of you have tended to pursue. That's typically how it works. And the reason I know that is I can look at your actions and her actions, and I can look at what both of you are saying and doing, and it becomes pretty obvious. Even when you don't tell me all the specific details, I look at the actions. It's always the same thing. When you understand what men and women do and why they do it, I mean, it's like you can set your watch to it. It's totally predictable. He says, to be friends is not an option, but I don't feel like I have a choice now. You absolutely have a fucking choice. That's when you say to her, look, we're having a baby together. I don't want to hear about us being friends. That's not what I signed up for. If for some reason we break up and we decide we're not going to date each other romantically, then yeah, we have to be civil. We have to have a friendly relationship with one another. It doesn't mean that I'm interested in being your buddy and your friend and we're going to hang out as buddies all the time while I watch you date and sleep with other guys. If we end up going our separate ways, it means I'm going to focus on my personal life and finding the right woman for me, and you can focus on finding the right guy for you, and we can raise our kids together. We're not going to raise our kids together as buddy-buddy best friends. If we're not going to be together romantically, then we each need to be focused on having a great relationship because we'll be great examples, we'll be great parents to our kids. We want our kids to see a relationship that they can emulate. And if it's going to be between you and I, it requires both of us to make a mutual effort. We did have sex that night a couple of times, and I'm still in there with a shot, and I also know she doesn't respect weak men, a sign she gave, which shows she's helping me. So she's letting you know that she's not happy with your behavior. So that definitely is a good sign. Women help you when they like you. Since she dropped the bombshell early last week, she canceled our date on Saturday night and said she wanted to be with her mom as she was feeling teary. Well, that tells me that obviously her attraction level for you is probably a 5 or a 6 at this point. It's not really high. In other words, what she communicated was, you're just not a priority to me. She doesn't have a high level of interest in spending time with you. Therefore, she'd rather just go hang out with her mom. It's a sign of low interest. I said that was okay under the circumstances, and we agreed to meet tonight. In the last week, we've hardly exchanged text messages, and I've only responded with non-leading messages each time as per your advice. I don't teach to be a cold fish, dude. I don't teach to be a robot either. But in this particular case, when you've been over pursuing, you need to back off and wait, especially when she's canceling dates. You're smothering her, and she's trying to get away. You got to love in such a way that the person you love feels free, and she obviously doesn't feel free. That's why she's blowing you off and trying to get away. That's why at this point you should stop no calling, texting, pursuing on your part, and just back off, because she's pushing you away. And the worst thing you do when you're being pushed away is to try to pull somebody closer to you. They're just going to continue to make excuses. I mean, she's canceling dates because she doesn't want to spend time with you. As opposed to, oh, I miss you, I can't wait to see you, we got to get together and talk about it. It's so exciting. I'm so excited about being a parent. I'm so excited about being a mom when I never thought I'd be able to do this without in vitro fertilization. If she had high attraction, that would be her attitude. So you've got to give her the space and the time to miss you, to think about you, to wonder about you. And then when she misses you, she'll reach out, and then you can make the next date. I don't want to have a relationship via the phone. Well, it's when she reaches out, just say, hey, great to hear from you. We should get together, talk about it over dinner. When are you free? And then make a date and have her come over to you, because she's canceled and pushed you away. Don't go to her. Don't meet up with her. Don't meet her out. Don't go pick her up. She needs to come to you. She needs to do a little bit of sucking up because she's been jerking you around lately. For you to go to her when she's jerking you around is just basically saying, hey, it's okay. Please do it to me some more. Thank you. May I have another? I want to encourage her to spend more time with me face to face. And when we do spend time together, we always have fun. I then get a text from her this morning. She says, morning, about tonight, I'm really behind in getting this presentation ready for tomorrow, and I think I'm going to have to stay late and do it at work tonight. So she'd rather spend more time working on a boring-ass fucking work presentation than hanging out with the man of her dreams who she's having his baby. What does that tell you about her priorities? You ain't one of them, dude. And so there's no, you just are not going to get anywhere trying to force yourself into her life. She literally is pushing you away, canceling dates because she doesn't want to be around you. I'm really sorry. I've typically left it to the last minute and I am now panicking. Can we just wait until Saturday to see each other? And my response to that would be, well, wow, that really makes me feel like you really miss me and you really want to see the father of your children. So let's do this. Why don't you reach out to me when you miss me and you really want to see me? Because right now, I do not appreciate being taken for granted and blown off at the last minute for telling me that you'd rather spend your time working than spend time with me. That sucks. That's a bunch of crap. And I only want to be around you when you really want to see me and you really want to make the effort. Because right now, this behavior, this canceling at the last minute, it's rude, it's disrespectful, and I don't appreciate it. I wouldn't treat you this way, so you should not be treating me this way. And so I'm not interested in making plans with you next Saturday. I want you to get in touch with me when you really miss me and you really want to see me and you're really fun and exciting to be around, because this is a bunch of crap. I don't appreciate it. So call me when you miss me and you really want to see me. I'll talk to you later. That's how I would handle that situation. And he responded with, and you let me know by text, not cool. Call me when you can make the time and let's talk about arrangements. She called me an hour or two later and I said things have changed now that she's pregnant and I'm not happy with 2 cancellations and I don't think that is cool with no real explanation. That's good, you're standing up for yourself. I like that. She said she was feeling awful with sickness and tiredness and was behind on work. I would have just said, you know, those are nice, they sound like great excuses, but the bottom line is you're pregnant with our child and yet you're blowing me off. That's a bunch of crap. I was looking forward to seeing you, but obviously you're not willing to make the effort right now. I'm looking at what your actions are, and your actions are the actions of someone that really doesn't give a damn about spending time with me, and I don't appreciate that. I said that she should find time for me if she, or that she would find time for me if she wanted to. That is absolutely true, and it's good that you said that. She told me I was being childish. I'd say I'm not being childish. It's called having some self-respect. And I have some self-respect. I value myself. I'm a catch. I bring a lot to the table. And right now, the way you're treating me is not acceptable. It's not being childish. And don't tell me that my needs and my wants and my desires are childish and they don't matter. If I was telling you the same thing, you'd get pretty pissed off about it. And so therefore, you're giving me a double standard right now, and you owe me an apology. She told me I was being childish, and now I just piss her off. Oh, excuse me, Your Highness, I don't want to piss you off. So she's used to intimidating him with, well, I'm going to get pissed off and not want to spend any time with you. Oh, you mean like any more than the 2 or 3 times a month we see each other now? Come on. I told her that was fine if she wanted to feel that way. Neither of us had time for the phone call and said we'd speak another time. Now I'm in the waiting game, balls deep, and not sure what to do. Well, I wouldn't do nothing. I like the fact that you stood up for yourself and you basically said, this is fucking bullshit, which it is fucking bullshit. I mean, she's pregnant with your kid. She's very smart, so I know our next conversation won't be easy. Your job as a man in the courtship is to create an opportunity for sex to happen. Hang out, have fun, and hook up. Don't be trying to have this kind of conversation over the phone. She's probably going to try to because she's trying to control everything at this point. And I would say, if you want to see me, great. Come on over, we'll make some dinner together, and we'll talk, we'll have a nice romantic evening, and we can just discuss this and have a good time together. And unless she's got the right kind of attitude, unless she wants to get together on your terms, then you're not interested. It's so much harder when a woman has your kid inside of her. Walking away isn't so easy. You need to be burying yourself in the book, dude, because I can already tell that you're kind of wanting to go to the other extreme and be a cold fish and a dick to her, and that's not what I teach. You should also review the video that I did several years ago called How to Communicate with Women Effectively. He says, however, if she doesn't call me or text me to tell what's going on, how can I possibly understand why she was canceling? Well, I'll tell you why she's canceling, because her interest is very low. That's why. Her attraction is very low because of your behavior. And should I put up with it? What you really need to do right now is nothing. You need to let her be. You need to let her miss you. You need to use the phone for setting dates, not having a relationship with her or giving out information. At this point, I would simply wait to hear from her, and then when you do, make a date. She needs to come to your place for at least the next 3 dates in a row. You're not going to her. She's going to come to you. Why? Because she's canceled on you twice for bullshit reasons. She jerked you around, and then she gave you a hard time about it, like, how dare you have some needs, wants, and desires? How dare you not only want to go along with 100% of what I want to do? But I like what you did. You stood up for yourself. It's like, hey, this is not acceptable. And so next time she reaches out, just say, hey, I'd really love to see you, but I only want to see you if you really miss me and you really want to get together. Because quite frankly, the way you were talking to me last time, taking for granted, canceling dates at the last minute, it's like, my time is valuable. And I'm not going to just put a big hole in my schedule for you just to have you discard me at the last minute like I'm a piece of fucking trash. I don't think so. That doesn't work for me. I'm really interested in making time for you if you really want to see me. I want to have some fun. I'm not interested in getting together and being a drag, and I'm certainly not interested in making a date with you if you're just going to blow me off at the last minute, because there's other people I can make plans with and go have a lot more fun and then get blown off the last minute like that. That shit's going to stop immediately. If you want to keep me in your life and you want to continue to have a chance to date me romantically, you're going to treat me with respect. Otherwise, we can be just friends, and we'll do the best we can, and then I can go find a woman who does value and appreciate what I have to offer, because this shit is not acceptable. That's how I would handle it if I were you. At this point, I'd wait to hear from her, and then when you do, make a date at your place. She needs to come to you for at least the first 3 dates in a row, because she got some serious sucking up to do with the way she's been treating you. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone, Skype, or email coaching session. You can choose any of those options by going to my website, clicking the Products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions for booking whichever option works best for you. And I will talk to you soon.